episode 22, I believe. I always flub the episode number up, but it's SpinUp-Nation tonight, and we have Steve Carpenter on tonight. He's going to recap his experience at SpinUp last year. Yep. And somebody needs to mute.
I did.
Thank you. And he's going to recap his experience this year, and then we're going to ask him, questions about this year's SpinUp. Just kind of nuts and bolts questions. Things you kind of need to know. So on that note, we're going to jump into the episode. So I'm going to introduce my co-host, Marcus Crawford. How are you tonight?
Doing very well, Ron. Thank you for that introduction, and looking forward to. A nice, a good show tonight. Got a few things to talk about. Got a little bit of I did a Xeno flight the other day. Can talk about that a little bit. And I know we have. I know Ron, you had mentioned that there was an individual that was having some problems with his Xeno, and we were going to talk about that a little bit about what the solutions may or may not be. And sounds good.
Great. And I'll just give a quick Xeno Pro update. As of 1 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time, the Xeno Pro is still sold out on the Hubsa website. So it still doesn't seem available to order. But we'll keep you updated. Marcus and I check daily, and as soon as it's available in there, we'll send messages out to let everybody know. So and like Marcus mentioned, Dan and I put a post on SpinUp-Nation on Facebook yesterday. He just got his Black Xeno the other day, and he had a lot of connection issues. And a lot of people gave him a lot of tips and tricks. So if he pops in the show tonight, we'll probably get into it. And I see my friend Dave G. That's Perth West. OZRC just joined us. I want to send prayers out for Dave. Dave's been ill recently. He's been, a little sick or whatever. So I want to send him the best wishes for a speedy recovery, and got some of our regulars in here, Josh from Parks and Tech, and I saw FSU grad 03. That's DeMarco. He's in with us tonight. I saw Brian from True Drone Reviews. He joined the show. We got Dale Wilson in the house. So we got a good crew. We got Thomas O'Sullivan coming here, and we're going to have the video of the week. It's going to be from Greg Pittman, a member of the community here and a frequent visitor to the show. He's going to be the user subscriber video of the week, and we'll play that in the second part of the show. So what I want to do is I want to jump over to Steve. This is Steve's first time to the show, and if people don't know Steve, he's in California. He's Southern California. He'll give the exact location here, and he's he does a lot of videos, live streams where he takes the Mavic up, and he gets these beautiful sunsets coming over the harbor and the sea out there. So I'm going to put his channel up in a second. I want everybody to go over to his channel, subscribe, hit that bell, maybe check a video or two out. Not during the show, after the show. I'm going to let him give a little brief bio, better than I just did here, of what his channel is and what he does. And then we're going to kind of go into his experiences at SpinUp V1 last year in I believe it was in Texas also, but a different part of Texas, I believe, or a different location. But welcome to the show, Steve. How are you tonight?
Thank you, Ron. I'm doing well. Marcus, thank you. Good evening to you both. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Steve Carpenter. I'm in Southern California, a town called Dana Point, halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego. I have a Mavic Pro that I fly, and I usually do live streams. I've only done a few actual videos, and I just really enjoy getting up to try to capture those sunsets. So for all the big group of guys that are out there for their Saturday morning and Sunday morning sunrise, I'm asleep getting my beauty sleep while they're up there flying. I catch it in the evening time going down.
I'm with you, Steve. I catch the sunsets, not the sunrises.
Yeah. Well, you've done some beautiful ones on the coast. You've got a beautiful spot for those beaches that you have there. I mean, you have some beaches that they just seem to go on forever and ever and ever. We don't quite have that here, at least in my local area.
Right, and here on this coast, the shore is all Barrier Island, so I have the sunset over the bay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I kind of have I have sunrise and good sunsets because it sets over the bay here.
Mm-hmm.
We got mountains in Idaho.
Beautiful mountains in Idaho. Snow covered and some majestic peaks there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good rivers. Yeah.
Oh, but some of your views that you have, I've only been to Idaho one time, many years ago, but it was gorgeous and loved fly fishing. That was a fun time there.
Oh boy, there is fly fishing, Salmon River. Yeah, there's tons. The Payette River, tons.
Yeah, and Marcus, he flies at that Snake River Canyon. Steve, are you old enough to remember Evel Knievel in the 70s? And okay.
Las Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Steve, tell us a little bit about SpinUp last year. You went. It was the first year they've ever had SpinUp. It was organized by Kelly Shores, and his channel is help me out here.
Ready, Set, Drone.
Ready, Set, Drone. I just had a mental lapse there.
Yeah.
And just give us a little, your experiences from last year.
Right. I'll tell you what, it was put together in really a very short period of time. And of course, not as many people went last year due to it being on December 1st. So close to the holidays, people traveling. So, but I can tell you this, Kelly outdid himself. He is, everything that you see in his videos, he is twice as warm, twice as welcoming when he meets you in person. He is just a spectacular guy. You guys will love meeting him. He's very welcoming. We met, myself and actually Chris Hope came in on Friday night. So he had a gathering with a few of the content creators, and like Ed Ricker was there, Billy Kyle was there, Ken Dona was there, Rick Smith, who else was there? Drawing a blanket, who else was in the room? But we met at a restaurant the night before, so it was kind of fun to meet everybody ahead of time. Then the following day, the event was held at what they call the Dell Diamond. It's the minor league baseball stadium right over next to Dell Computer, the city of Dell Computer, say, because the hotel I was staying at back right up against Dell Way. And a great place to fly. From the moment you walked in, his wife was there, his kids were there, his son, obviously, who you see in some of his videos, all welcoming you there. And then once you checked in, they had a beautiful room set up, and we overlooked on a terrace deck overlooking the diamond. So we were able to just, during the breaks, be able to take your drone out, put it out on the deck or on the grass area, take it up and fly a ball stadium. And not often you can say, yeah, I got a chance to fly a baseball stadium.
That's right.
But excuse me, the group and the speakers are phenomenal. Excuse me. They each had, excuse me, about 30 minutes to give their presentation, and then there was a break in between. So when you first came in, they had all kinds of, and I'll go into this a little bit more, stuff to eat, like breakfast foods and everything, and drinks and snacks throughout the whole day. And then in between, it was about every 3 speakers. That's when it was an open up break where you got to go outside to fly. So the problem being is so many people with their drones in such tight quarters.
Understood. Yeah.
You don't want to have a demolition derby, do you?
No, especially with the setup. They were setting up, and I don't remember, it was a huge concert coming in that night. So they had people down on the field. So now you're having to avoid the people on the field. But it was a blast.
How many people do you think attended last year, Steve?
About 70 people.
70 people.
Wow.
That's a good turnout, especially like you said, it was the last minute, and I didn't go because of December. December is like a busy month for me, and I probably wouldn't have gone again this year if it had been December again. So the middle of October worked out perfect for me.
Yeah, it worked out really nice. In fact, I don't know if I have it here. I was just going through my points here. Oh, there it is. You know what? If you let me share the screen here real quick, I'll pop a picture of it.
Yeah. You just put up and then I just approve it. Right, Mark? I tell them how to do it, Mark, because I only know. There you go. There you go. I got it.
There on the menu.
I got it. Yep. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a group of us all sitting after everybody was flying towards the end of the conference. Kelly got everybody out there together, and we all got in the group of the stairs. So the bottom row that you see there, that is the deck above. So we were above the ball deck stadium there. There were seats below us, so we had a great view of the field. And I think it was that picture is actually taken with 400 AGL Mel's drone. He shot the image there and got that still image of flying it out. And several other people, of course, wanted to get their drones out to get that image.
As funny you say, I was going to ask you, is that a drone? Is that a drone picture? And it was. That's funny.
Yeah, yes.
That's my next question. Yeah, it's a good shot. It's a great shot. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, on that note now, this year is going to be at a different facility, correct?
Correct. This year it's going to be held at the Boy Scout headquarters in Austin, Texas, which is last year was in the town of Round Rock, which is like a suburb of Austin, and it's about halfway in between. It's pretty close to downtown. I would say it's about maybe about 6 miles or 7 miles from downtown Austin itself. So it's in the main part of the city, and on the main highway there. And what'll be different about this is it is the Boy Scout headquarters, and we'll be in a room, and the room will be actually kind of like courtside like we were, but it'll be green grass area. And then we have this artificial lake that we'll be able to fly at.
Oh, that sounds neat.
And you'll be able to sit there and turn your drone over, and you'll be able to see your room. That's how close you're going to be to it. You're just going to be walking across the parking lot from your hotel to the room, which is a huge, huge advantage this year.
Now, this is a question about SpinUp in particular, but how close are the hotels to the airport in Austin?
It's I think it's about 17 miles from the airport.
Oh, so that's not bad at all.
No, because I was looking at either going Uber or catching the shuttle, because the airline I'm coming in ends up on Frontier, comes out of what they call a South Terminal. Mm-hmm. And in order to catch the shuttle, if you got the airport shuttle, you got to take a shuttle from where you're at 20 minutes to get to the main airport. So forget that. I'm just going to get Uber.
Right. Yeah. Why go 20 minutes when it's only 20 minutes to the hotel? Yeah. Huh.
But it's not too bad, because unfortunately they changed the flights from last year. I get in at barring any delays, and it lands at 4:45 in the afternoon on Friday.
Okay. And I don't know when my flight gets there. I got to check my wife if we even have a flight yet. But we got a hotel. I know that.
Yeah.
But before we move on to this year's SpinUp, Marcus, do you have any questions for Steve? Questions or comments on last year's SpinUp event?
Well, you really going over it, you kind of answered a lot of what I was thinking about. I mean, opportunities to fly the drone, etc. So wow, I mean, that just sounds like it's going to be a riot. And I heard a rumor. In fact, I think it was Art over at ArtCo Drones was saying that DJI is going to have some representatives there.
Yes, this year. Well, DJI last year gave away an M2 Pro, so Mavic Pro 2.
Wow.
They gave it away as the grand prize. This year, they are going to have representatives there, and they are giving away an M2 Pro again this year, but they're also giving away a RoboMaster also.
Oh, cool.
they're giving those away. Freewell, I think Freewell is going to also have a representative there too, and they're going to be giving away a bunch of their items. I don't know what extent. Kelly hasn't released that information yet, but I know that Freewell is going to be giving away items.
I wonder if Scott Parazinski is going to give away an NFT. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey, Marcus has a little secret to tell you, Steve.
I sold mine. I put it on eBay. It just didn't for me. It just didn't help me enough that it was worth it. So I just put it on eBay. And
so when Scott comes around and asks Marcus how the aviator is going, Marcus is going to have to keep avoiding him and jump to the next chat.
You know what? I won't. What I'll do is I'll have an honest talk with him and explain to him why it didn't work for me, and hopefully that's reasonable. I mean, I think it's a worthwhile product for some. It just wasn't for me. That's all.
Oh, I agree with you. And Marcus, like I mentioned on your commented on your videos, that both your videos that you did, my hat is off to you, sir, because those 2 reviews that you did, hands down, are the best, because you took your time, you really dedicated yourself to knowing the product, number 1. Number 2, when you mounted it on that tripod, you took away a variable that a person with their hand and a person on the control that could be double movement. And when you put that thing on the tripod, you eliminated that. So were definitely holding and controlling it with the joystick,
right?
Which, would really make a difference. And I thought my review on you was 2 thumbs up. I mean, both of them were really well done.
I really appreciate that, because I've had a few people that, told me I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So, but neither here nor there. And honestly, I don't take that very hard, because that's what this is all about. Is everybody has a different opinion of how things should work, and the reason that we do stuff like this is so that people can get an impression of it. And I completely understand that something that may not work for me may be great for somebody else. So,
Oh, exactly. And, you we're hobbyists, and there's professionals that are out there, and none of us have had that, I myself have never even held my hands on one, but to get your hands on one and do what you did, I thought it was, like I said, you did an outstanding job. You gave it, to me, a really fair and balanced review for somebody who just got their hands on it, but you took the time to learn it and then put it through its paces and do it at different times like you did, and trying different settings to see if it did make a difference.
And different drones even.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, I think it probably is a product that could benefit some people. So, I think some people perceived it as I was throwing it under the bus, and that makes me feel bad, because I certainly wasn't trying to do that. But anyway, neither here nor there. You just touched on something, though, that I wish that there was a way that more people could get their hands on one and try it. That was one of the things I think I said in one of my reviews, is because we're all so used to that other kind of controller.
Right.
It would be interesting if they got it, if there was a way, and I don't know how you do it, but to get it in the hands of a lot more people to try it. And maybe what that means is a guy like Scott comes to things like SpinUp, and maybe he'll have some demo units there that people can try out.
That's what we're hoping. In fact, I know Kelly was on Grumpy Vlogger, and he mentioned that was one of the things he was hoping that Scott would have them there, at least one, in order to do a demonstration with it, to where we can see maybe how they're flying it, plus maybe get some insight of how they're, what the settings they're using and how they're addressing it with, obviously every drone is going to be different.
Right. Yeah. Well, regardless, it's going to be I'm looking forward to having people like Scott there. And I mean, if we're going to have some DJI, there's just going to be a lot to take in, and I'm really excited about it.
I'm jumping the gun on questions here because I wanted to go in order, Steve, but I'm going to jump because I just thought of it. Does Kelly expect a bigger crowd this year? Do we have an idea how many tickets have been sold yet?
Well, I know he has outsold last year, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So that's a good sign.
Good. And we know we got Art in here. We know Art's going. So, and I see Third Eye View in here said he's going. He's only like, I think he said 45 minutes away. And I know FSU grad 03 is gone. So, we have quite a few people on the show that are going. But here's kind of my number one question. Okay. I purchased my ticket in June, and thanks to you, Steve, you were on many shows, including ours, telling people, that get your ticket early because the price would only go up. So I took advantage of you dropped the link in our show. I want to thank you for that and letting everybody know if you want to save money, get them early. And I took your advice, and I did. But I got an email, after I purchased the ticket, and now do I print that email out? What is my ticket for the event?
Okay, you're just going to have that. That's just a confirmation back. Name badges are already printed for everybody has their prepaid and has their tickets. When I spoke with Kelly, the name bags are already pre-printed. You don't need to print it out. So if you've already paid for it, you can, if you've got your email just as a backup, just in case. But name bags are already pre-printed.
Excellent. So if you feel like you're a conservative man, print the email out and make sure you have your ID with you.
Yeah.
Of course, some of us whose faces are plastered on the YouTube were recognizable anyways. But okay, that's a relief. And now, okay, I'm giving a lot of nuts and bolts. So like when we walk over, says we don't need the Uber, we'll just walk over to the place. Is there like a clear main entrance so we know where to go? And then, of course, you said there'll be people there taking your name and handing you the name badge. So there'll be a clear entrance.
On that point, I'm not really sure yet.
Okay.
They haven't given him the layout entrance of where they're going to enter in. But where our room will be is if you go to, I just posted the link up there in the chat.
Oh, excellent.
DroneSpinUp.com. You'll actually see the one page that I was just showing with the picture. It actually shows the facilities there. It'll actually show the building and the pictures and shots of the building and the layout there that you can be able to see the facilities.
Great. Oh, that's excellent. Well, what we'll do is, since Marcus is from Oregon and they have all sorts of trails and stuff there, we're going to put him in charge of leading our group over. Marcus will get like one of those walking sticks and, wear some Oregon Explorer gear, right?
Uh-huh.
Oregon, Idaho, Washington. I've lived on all three of them, Ron.
But okay, now let's see. What it was another question along with that I was going to ask. Okay, so it's a clear entrance name badge or whatever. And you covered. You said there's food and drinks there, so we don't have to bring water bottles with us. We can buy water at the event.
No, it'll all be provided.
Okay, boy, that's excellent. And like
water, soft drinks, or like in the morning, it'll be orange juice and other juices. And they had and he said it's going to be almost the same thing. They had all kinds of muffins and rolls and fresh fruit and yogurt and all kinds of stuff to eat there in the morning.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, Marcus, I'll hit that buffet table early.
Well, you'd be able to hit the buffet table at the hotel and then walk over and hit that one again.
That works for me.
I don't want to eat so much I fall asleep during the presentation, though. Can you give us a brief overview of who will be speaking this year?
Sure. In fact, if I can share my screen again, I'll show it to you right here.
Oh, boy. Share away, Steve. Share away.
I'm going to share it over here.
There we go.
I'm going to scroll back up here a little bit from where I was at. And there will be possibly two other people. So Jason of Remote Pilot 101, which a lot of people know, I'm a member of his educational group.
I am also.
I'm studying for my 107 still.
Me too.
He'll be a speaker there. And then Hi Kestelou of Drone DJ will be coming to the event. And there, obviously, he has his website and their news articles for drone reviews and all the breaking hits which you guys report on all the time.
Right. We always quote his stories.
Right. Sean Oz. Sean was there last year as an attendee, not as a creator. So he is coming this year. Sean does a lot of, I don't know if you're familiar with his channel, but he's got some really cool videos he's done. He's going up to like old abandoned mines where he lives up in the mountains and does some really great stuff. He's also a tattoo artist. And the rumor is Ken Dono is going to be getting a tattoo from Sean there.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be interesting to see. I want to know if he's going to give him the tattoo while he's giving his speech. That would be.
Maybe Marcus and I can get SpinUp-Nation tattoos while we're there.
Well, I'll leave that to you, Ron. I'm too old for that.
Yeah, and then Scott, who we talked about, Brzezinski from Fluidity, will be there again this year. And then Dre, she is into social media. If you look on the webpage, she'll give you a more in-depth explanation. She is like a guru of social media, and she's going to be talking about how to create your channel better, how to build a channel. She's on that Time of Dre on Instagram. I haven't been to any of her other social media channels, but she's going to be dealing in social media to all the people attending. Jace is a test pilot, and he's a chief pilot for Skyways, and he's going to be talking about different things that they're talking about on cargo-based drones, which, you know, obviously is getting into and along the line of Amazon.com and all the rest of everybody that wants to be able to deliver your package to you in 10 seconds or less.
Huh.
Belinda is works for, she's with the Dow Geosmarticle group, and they do really in-depth, high grade and specialized mapping and aerial photography that they get into. They're really into like gas lines and everything else, and GIS, and a lot more than just construction style mapping. But I'm interested in learning a lot for that because I want to find out a little bit more on that.
Interesting.
And Barry Markowitz, I'm not sure really what he does. This is a gentleman that just got added. He's from Hawaii. He's coming in, so he's going to be probably one of the longest flights in. But he can go in there and talk about it. He's worked with the BBC, and he's a photographer. So it'll be interesting to see what he does and how he's used drones with his business. And then Jim, excuse me.
I can only speak for so long without needing to take a drink or cough also. Yeah. I think it comes with age.
Yeah. Jim is from dronelinks.com, and he is into software and architectural stuff, and he's based right there in Austin, Texas.
Oh, excellent.
So that's the group so far. And then what you can do for those people that were interested that have never seen it, I was not looking at the chat, but because I don't want to play this, so there's no copyright infringements with you guys or
right.
them. Ed Ricker did a nice recap, Sean Oz, and of course, the infamous Ken Herron, and also Rick Smith of Drone Valley. Those presentations from last year are available. They recorded their whole entire presentation.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, thank you. That's a good rundown. It seems like a good group of people, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, you said about filming and stuff like that. Now, pictures and videos are allowed on the at the premise, like I don't have to have written permission to take Billy Kyle's picture or whatever. I say Billy Kyle because he's a friend of mine, but you know what I'm getting. Okay, so it won't be any restrictions on videos or pictures. Okay.
No, it was all open. In fact, one thing that Kelly had, he recorded the whole entire show.
Wow.
And he's still talking about that they're going to bring some of that stuff up from last year. But it's my understanding he's going to do the same thing. Because for those of you who don't know, Kelly is in a production company. That's what he does business-wise.
Okay.
And it's my understanding they're going to be doing the same thing again this year. But besides, I'm talking full video boards, audio boards, all in the back, everything set up, cameras all over the place. Everybody, mic'd. So there was no problem hearing or seeing anything. But as many people that were there doing that, there was twice as many, because every single one of the creators had their cameras up, they were recording it and everything else.
Nice.
Hey, so I've got a question for both of you. What drone are you bringing?
My Maverick Pro.
Okay. Ron?
I'm going to bring the Mavic 2 Pro, and only because I'm not just going to spin up. I have to spin up and going over to San Antonio. So otherwise I may bring a more portable drone like the Anafi. But since I'm going to San Antonio next, I don't want to miss a once in a lifetime shot and not have my best drone with me.
Yeah. So the easy answer for me is the Mavic 2 Zoom, but I'm thinking about it. Maybe just the Spark might be the better idea for this reason. And you guys tell me if I'm just because it's so easy to get it in the air. So if you got a few minutes between to put your drone up and mess around, well, that Spark could be really easy to throw up. And hey, how long are you going to be flying anyway, right? So if you're up there for 10 minutes or so, I don't know, just a thought.
Marcus, wait until you see how fast I get the Mavic 2 with the Smart Controller. I don't have to fill around with the wires and getting the phone in place.
Yeah, that's probably true.
One thing that should be a lot easier, having the grass area there will be a patio covered area there, but it'll be a lot of grass area versus that terrace deck. That was the funniest thing of all, because a couple of people brought like Ken Heron brought his Inspire 2. Another gentleman brought his Matrice.
Wow.
Only one problem. They couldn't get him launched because it would not get calibrated because of all the steel on the deck. They couldn't take off. They had to go up around over onto the grass area behind the main scoreboard in order to get in an area where they were away from all the steel.
That is funny. Yeah. So this will be a better environment where you could just launch off like a grassy backyard type area. That'll be much more fun. And you have that little lake, and so that all sounds like a better location now. I know none of us are from Texas, but what do you anticipate the temperature will be that day there? Are we looking at 90 degrees or cooler? No idea.
They're predicting comfortable high 70s, maybe. It could be even a low 80, but he's saying high 70s.
Well, that's great. But of course, we'll be in air conditioning for the speakers. Is that correct? Right. And now last year, of course, it was cool because it was December, so you probably wore a jacket last year.
No, it was actually a beautiful day. Sun was out, probably in the high 70s, even then in December.
Yeah.
The only problem we had there was wind. You had to watch out for, because having that stadium, it created its own vortex.
Oh, sure.
weather system in the inside. So you'd watch drones take off and go, and all of a sudden they'd be drifting, and then they'd come back and catch along, especially if you got up to the upper canopy line. And being on the upper deck, it didn't take much to get up to the upper canopy line.
Okay.
Hey, Ron, we have a couple of people in the chat here that are suggesting, Greg and Dennis, somebody needs to bring a Xeno to SpinUp.
Oh, well,
He said they said represent.
Do you have extra space in your luggage, Marcus?
Yeah, you never know. Might bring the Xeno as well. Huh?
How about could you possibly bring the Xeno Pro? That oh, I forgot you were under NDA. You can't bring that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Do you think anybody will have a Xeno Pro in their hands by then? I don't know.
Well, Kelly had one at last year's SpinUp. We know that because Billy Kyle told us that.
Yeah, that's right. Billy Kyle told us he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you were probably one of the first ones to actually see a real live Xeno.
Yes, it was, and it was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. Everybody was huddled around wanting to see what all the hubbub was about.
Yeah.
The one that was the funniest was Ed Ricker. He had one of these little, mini FPV drones.
Mm-hmm.
He was flying it all around, and during the break, everybody's up. He's flying it under the chairs, around the tables, and everything, flying it all over the place.
Wow. He's good. Yeah, he's good.
I'm truly hoping that they are going to do the setup again, because Ed Ricker is coming. I know that for a fact. He's not presenting, but I have an inkling, they're keeping it quiet. This is just my guess, is that he's going to be flying again. And what they had is this huge 60-inch monitor outside, and they had his goggles connected into the TV.
Oh, wow.
So while you were flying the stadium, you were watching the TV as you were the goggles.
Neat.
Wow.
I'd love to see that.
That guy is one crazy, outstanding pilot. Because he sat at dinner the night and the evening after. I go, "You're crazy. You really are." Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Well, crazy was this when I came out here the day before and I flew this, and one of his props came off his drone."
Oh no.
It flew right off as he was climbing up the tower, and thank goodness it dropped to the side and came down and landed in the grass.
Wow. I've been admiring your T-shirt there, Steve. Is it true that we get a free T-shirt for buying tickets?
It wasn't. They're not free. They were $10. That was an extra purchase.
Yeah. Thanks for that correction. Okay. I think Marcus and I both paid the $10.
I'm trying to remember if I did or not, to be honest with you.
Do we get the ticket? Do we get the shirts at the event if we paid the $10?
Yeah.
And we'll get them when we get our name badges?
Correct. You'll get your shirts there, and there will be additional shirts there of SpinUp and of Ready Set Drone for $10 a shirt.
That's a good price.
Yeah, so it's the same price that he was selling them online. They'll be available there if you wanted to pick up another one, or if you want Ready Set Drone shirts too.
Okay, excellent. Good. It's good. I said thanks for passing that along, because Marcus, we talked about the T-shirts a while back, and I said I didn't know how we would get the T-shirts, because I'm almost positive I clicked the box for the extra $10 for the tee.
It should say right on your receipt that you have the email back. It should be on that.
I'll find that email right after the show and go over it with a fine-tooth comb, as I used to say. So, anybody to the chat here that has any questions about SpinUp, post them, now, and we'll try to go over them and, see if, Steve has an answer. Maybe he can get an answer. And anybody that in the chat that's going to SpinUp, just say something like, "I'm going to SpinUp," and we'll know, who in there, who we have with us, who is definitely going. So,
well, we know Marco, FSU grad for sure.
Right.
Chris Hope, I know, is going for sure.
Okay. Right. Good.
I wonder about Parks and Tech. He's been awful quiet. Is he going or isn't he?
I think he was saying like he wouldn't be able to go.
DeMarco's wanting to meet for dinner on Friday, he's saying here.
Okay, he's buying.
Is that true, DeMarco?
Are there? You think there's restaurants and stuff close by, Steve, within walking distance?
Yeah, but I could see there was, and in fact, one of the things I will bring up is Kelly is going to address a couple other items that have yet to be announced. One, if there's going to be a gathering the night before,
okay,
at a location, which he did last time, and that will be at each person's own expense,
right?
To go there, and then the other item that will happen, if it happens on the night before Friday night, then at your own expense on Saturday night, right next to the stadium was, I guess it's restaurant number 2. It's called the Salt Lick. It's supposed to be the most premier barbecue place in Texas, but the original Salt Lick is a ways from where Austin is. But it was so funny because everybody's going, well, where at? And Kelly goes, right there across the parking lot. All we did is drive across the parking lot, and that's where the Salt Lick was.
That's the type of travel I like.
So I'm sure there's going to be restaurants available around there. And I know there's some right across the freeway. And then there was one, I think, down just a little bit headed down, probably within walking distance of the hotels towards downtown.
Okay, so we're not going to go hungry.
No.
And now, how about is it like a Starbucks or something nearby? You think?
Well, your hotel's going to serve you breakfast and coffee and all that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about Starbucks.
Okay.
Here's what you need to understand, Steve. What you are in a chat with Ron Brown, who is a latte aficionado, I guess I would say. He is probably a barista supreme. So it better be good coffee.
Yeah, I need my finely crafted beverage in the morning. So I'll be looking for a nice coffee house or Starbucks or something.
So what's your go-to then? What's your favorite go-to in the morning? If you were able to go out to your place, what would it be and where would it be?
I mean, if they had a Starbucks, I'd pick that. But like on the East Coast, we have Dunkin' Donuts. I can get by with the Dunkin' Donuts. Or I don't mind independent coffee houses. Like we toured Oregon last summer, and I loved hitting all the little independent. Like in Oregon, they have these little coffee, like what would you call it? They have these like a little on a corner. They have like a little coffee booths all over the place. You know what I'm talking about, Marcus?
Oh yeah.
The corner, and you drive through and you get like, and they have all the nice coffees in there. Some of them are really good. Some of them are just okay, whatever. But it's kind of neat. We don't have that here in the East Coast.
They're all over the place. In Washington State and Oregon in particular, now quite frankly, here in Idaho as well. But Ron, you brought it up. If you were in Oregon, you must have hit a Dutch Brothers coffee.
I can't remember all the names, but I think I did. It was a couple places where I hit like a little chain where I hit the same coffee thing in a couple different towns, and that Dutch Brothers does ring a bell. What Marcus and I are hoping for, Steve, is if there's an In-N-Outs close by. Are you familiar with In-N-Outs burgers?
We have
on the East Coast.
4 miles from here, not even 4 miles from here.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, Steve's in California. That's where it started. That's where it all started.
That's right.
We're
all over the place. In fact, the one that I'm talking about is right off the freeway. And my wife and I will be coming back, and we'll be coming back south on Interstate 5. And you look down on it. There's 2 lanes coming in and loop around and go out to the street. The main street has got them backed up on both directions in the center section, and they have a person directing cars in to get them in.
It got busy.
And that was, I was with my sister going to see my mom here, in fact, this afternoon. At 2:30 in the afternoon, it was that.
Now we have a comment here, Third Eye View, who's given a lot of good information tonight. He said there's an In-N-Out very close.
Oh, that's good.
And Forrest John Jones has a question for Marcus.
I'm answering him right now.
He says, I have a question for what would be the ideal wind conditions to fly the Xeno. He lives in, can you say that? Pocatello? Is that in Idaho?
Yeah, it's right on the east side of the state. When I was a working man, I had a branch in Pocatello. So what I will say, and I was just going to answer in the chat, is I don't think, and Ron, you can probably speak to this as well, I would not fly the Xeno. The Xeno does not like wind. Let me put it to you that way, period. You can fly in the wind with it, but I really wouldn't. Anything more than 10-mile-an-hour gusts or so, I just wouldn't put it up.
Well, Marcus, could you recommend a good affordable drone for flying in high wind?
You know, I've had the FEMI X8 SE out on a pretty windy day, and it did fine. You know, other than that, the best drone for flying in the wind that I've ever flown was, of course, that Mavic 2. That thing is phenomenal. I've had that thing up in winds, gosh, I don't know, 25, 30 mile an hour winds, and it was throwing up wind warnings on the app and so forth. But when you looked at the drone itself, you would never know it because it would just be up there steady as a rock. You can imagine those ESCs and those motors were working pretty hard to keep it there. But, you know, it does work. The Xeno, not so much. What you will see with the Xeno when you get it in the wind is a lot of toilet bowling, and I just don't think it's powerful enough of a drone for much wind.
High wind flying. Here, yeah. I got an update on Starbucks. Third Eye View says Starbucks is about 4 miles from the SpinUp event. I guess I'm going to need a car then.
In-N-Out Burger is just across the freeway. I pulled it up on Google Map.
Well, Third Eye View says In-N-Out's is nasty compared to what a burger.
That's supposed to be pretty good. I've never had one.
Nor have I.
Marcus, are you a man that likes a good burger?
Oh, not yes, but hell yes. I'm a fat guy. Yeah. Well, so if you were to force me to I don't know, it'd be tough to pick a burger, but gosh, you know, it's hard to beat a burger like a place like Red Robin, which of course that's what they specialize in. There's a chain here, a local chain in Idaho, and they're starting to move into Utah, etc., called Goodwood Barbecue, and they of course they have really good barbecue, but their burgers are phenomenal. If you're talking fast food burgers, gosh, it'd be tough. You know, I know a lot of people like Culver's. We just got a Culver's here. I don't care. I honestly didn't care for it much. Five Guys is pretty darn good. Yeah, it's kind of tough. I mean, a Whopper's pretty hard to beat. A Burger King Whopper, that's a pretty good burger.
What's that new Whopper burger they're all talking about?
Oh, that one that's plant-based. I can't remember, but I've heard it's double the calories of a regular hamburger.
Oh, nice. Guys, I got a Monday Night Football update. It's halftime, and the Browns are up on the Jets 16-3.
Oh.
Well, we know we're doing this during the Monday Night Football, so we try to give them a few updates. Are you a football fan, Steve?
Actually, I used to be, and I haven't been for many years. After they, this is going back quite a few years. Mm-hmm. I got out of football. My younger days, I was into it all the time. I was going through 4 years of electrical apprenticeship, Monday night and Wednesday night school.
Oh.
Monday night, we're out. We've lost every Monday football, you know, being able to do it because of being in school. The first year we graduate, they had the first game. The second game, they went out on strike. So they said, I'm going out on strike too. I'm not watching
anymore. Were you guys Rams fans or Chargers fans?
Well, we were Rams fans because they were, back at that time, they were here in Anaheim.
Okay. You're close to Anaheim.
Right.
Okay. Right. But now you have the Chargers and the Rams back, right?
but that's clear up in Inglewood. That's a long ways away. That's almost up by LAX area. It's about 70 miles from here.
That's a hike, right?
Hey, so Ron, you want me to give a little talk a little bit about my last flight with the Xeno and my test?
Yes. You did talk about that video where you tested what you were range testing.
Well, no. Well, I did a range test recently, and that's up on my channel. And of course, the thing about the Xeno is it's the same for everybody. It will get out a kilometer or not quite, and that's the limit of what it does. And there's a lot of controversy about whether that's artificially set, and some say, well, it's just that's all the hardware is capable of. How the heck do I know? When I'm not that technical of a guy, but I like to just speak to the experiences that I have with the drones. But one of the controversies with the Xeno, and it was pretty early on when it first came out, was there was, and Ron, you remember when Hubsan had their forums, their internet forums. Boy, there was a ton of talk about the design of that thing, that it didn't have enough ventilation, and by the summertime, it would heat up, and there would literally be Xenos raining from the sky. So one of the things that I did, I got to looking at the weather report, and this past Sunday was our high was going to be, that was yesterday, it was going to be 92 degrees. So I thought, wow, this is really probably my last opportunity of the year, because the weather will start cooling off here, to really put that to the test and see if the Xeno could stand hot weather at full throttle application. So I charged up 2 batteries and I took it out, and I flew the Xeno at max throttle, clear through the first battery. And as soon as the battery got low, I brought it back in and I pulled an Alderan hot swap and put another battery in it. And by hot swap, what I mean is, and Alderan showed us how to do this, you simply land the drone, you don't shut off your controller or your app, you just shut off the drone, slap another battery in it, turn the drone back on, it connects again, and off you go. And so I did that, and I flew for 2 full batteries at full throttle, and landed the drone really without any incident at all. There was one part where I flew it and I had a disconnection, but that was my own fault, because if you guys see where I've seen where I fly out at Heroes Park, I often park myself under a little picnic shelter there, and it's got a metal roof. And so I had inadvertently positioned myself where I had the metal roof between the drone and myself, so lost connection there. I don't know, it was out probably 400 or 500 meters, which is quite a ways, but as soon as I pointed the controller back at it, I got connection again. So there was really no issues related to heat. The drone flew perfectly, so we kind of dispelled that theory that the Xeno does not handle heat well. And I landed it, and I wish that I'd brought. I've got one of those infrared thermometers where with laser you can point at it. I didn't bring it with me. I wish I had, so that we could have measured some temperatures. But I can tell you, to the touch, heck, it wasn't even warm. And in fact, even like if you fly your Mavic, if you grab the motors after you land it, they'll feel pretty hot. Well, this thing wasn't. It wasn't hot at all. So I guess what I'm going to say is, whatever anybody thought there were issues with the Xeno, evidently they designed pretty good heat management into it, and it worked well. So anyway, that's kind of a preview. That video will be out soon.
So it sounds like the Xeno definitely passed the heat test.
Yeah, it did, and it was kind of interesting also to fly it at full throttle that whole time. Boy, I just never took my thumb. I had that stick. In fact, my thumb got sore from jamming that stick forward the whole time, and I literally kept it at full throttle the whole way through, and which is kind of a feat in of itself. battery wise, so they say 22 or 23 minutes, I think, is the flight time they advertise. And I landed it at 25% battery, which it automatically goes into return to home at 25%. But that's all I ever do, because I've always been told not to deplete the battery too much. That affects battery life. But my newer battery, I got about 14, maybe 15 minutes of flight time out of it. I've got another battery that is the original one with the drone, and I only got about 9 or 10 minutes out of that. And I don't know if potentially I didn't have it fully charged. That's a possibility, but I didn't get near the flight time out of that second battery.
Well, Marcus, have you, maybe this is just me, but have you noticed that since the last big firmware update, the 1.52, I think you get less battery life now.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? I heard people talking about that. And when I was flying after that, Ron, I thought I kind of noticed it, but you just think, oh, it's just me. I was doing something different, but there may be something to that.
And Steve's probably not aware of this, and anybody in the chat that doesn't have a Xeno, the Xeno doesn't have a fan like the DJI drones do. It relies all on its cooling all through air holes. It doesn't have a fan that comes on like everybody knows with the DJI drones, or even the little Nafi. It has a fan that comes on when it needs to cool down. But the Xeno is all air cooled. So it's
Marcus, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
What was the temperature, your ambient temperature you were flying with? I mean,
it was 90 degrees outside. So what I did, Steve, is I waited until about 5 p.m. in the afternoon at the peak of the high temperature, because of course that was the point of it. And it was 92 degrees when I flew the drone.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
In fact, by what Marcus just told us, the Xeno was probably cooler than his iPhone. Marcus has an iPhone that heats up like a hot plate. Steve.
Oh man, you can fry eggs on the back of that thing sometimes. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So if spin up, tell Kelly if the thing breaks down, Marcus can.
Or your iPad Mini, those things will heat up real quick.
Yeah.
Now, do you have an adapter and use the Mini to fly your Mavic?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Steve, that's interesting that you say that. I have a Mini as well, and I fly my Mavic with it sometimes, but I don't use an adapter. I just spread those wings open as far as they'll go. And I kind of like that, because I kind of like to have the controller above I don't know if it's just something I got used to or what, but above the FPV.
I enjoy it because I can tilt it with the mount that I have. You can adjust it and tilt it to where you want it. And with my hands underneath, it just seems balanced. And with the mount that I have for it, I have a leash on it, so that I can just let go, even with the tablet in, and it all stays locked into place, and I can just let it hang there. So when you were talking about the hot swaps, because I've only done it twice on my live streams, I brought the drone down because the sky was turning more beautiful than it was the 19 minutes I'd already been up for. So I was able to just grab the battery, your controller hanging off my neck, and just go over there and turn it off, put it on, pop the new battery in, and put it right back up again.
Cool. Yeah, that's always been an issue that I've thought about with that controller. Is I've wished that there was a way that you could put a lanyard on it so you could keep it around your neck.
Well, I'll show you. I've got it right here, in fact. So here is the mount with the Maverick. So let me get over here. There we go. So my controller's underneath it here, and then this lanyard. And so you can just hang it by the lanyard. it hangs and holds itself in place.
That's sweet. I like that.
I have a similar setup to what Steve had, and I like the fact that using a lantern. I've done like you said, Marcus. I've just stuck the iPad in the holder,
Right.
which is cool too. But also, it's nice having that lantern because then you can actually have both hands to do something, if you needed to.
Yeah, because the mini will fit in there. But what I did is I found these online, and this is just a clear plastic protection for the mini, because we're all not perfect. We're all gonna bang and drop it. It really protects it well on the sides, obviously, and then I've got the glass on it. But with that, I have to take this off if I do slide it in, like like you're doing,
right?
And to spread the arms on the controller.
Which is exactly what I do. I've got to protect it. I take it out of the case when I put it in the controller. Yeah.
Right.
Marcus, Better with a Drone left a comment for you. He says, Marcus, be careful with your oldest battery. If the flight time is dropping, it could be a signal of upcoming failing. And watch the levels as they drop below 30%. And why Better with a Drone saying that is he had a Xeno, a battery fail on him, and his Xeno fell from the sky and crashed and basically was destroyed because of a faulty battery.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And you know what? Honestly, until he mentioned that, and I knew about his incident, I wasn't putting two and two together. That is a great point, and it could be that battery it's not swollen or anything, but I don't think his was either.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
Better off with the drone. He was one of the early Xeno owners. He had one pre-Christmas last year, so he was one of a group of I don't know 10 or a dozen of us had the Xeno early, and we were posting videos to YouTube.
How old are your batteries, Marcus? And do you know how many charges you have on them?
So unlike the Mavic that records how many charges you put on a battery or anything DJI, I don't know of any place in the Xeno software that tells you that. So the quick answer is no, I don't know. I've flown the heck out of it, so I'm quite sure it's a lot.
Well, the reason why I was asking that, because I've read some articles, and especially with the Mavic product line, they talk about conditioning the battery, and especially after about 25 cycles, to where you take the battery and you fly it as much as you can, bring it down, take the props off, and just let those motors run and just let it drain itself completely down to zero. And that's one of the ways that DJI talks about keeping the maintenance up on them. But after at least 25, times of you've recharged it, take it down to zero and then give it a full charge back up again. Now, I don't know if that can work the same way with your Xeno.
Right.
That's a good thought.
That's interesting, though. Yeah.
I got nothing to lose, Steve, because if the battery's going bad, I should replace it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably a good thought.
And luckily, compared to like a Mavic, the Xeno batteries are very affordable. You could buy them directly from Hubson for under $40.
Right.
You can buy almost three of them compared to the Mavic 2 now.
Well, and so far the Xeno batteries haven't got tariffed yet. So, but I'm going back to the speakers. I'm looking forward to seeing that the Instagram speaker, the social media person. I need somebody to help me jumpstart my Instagram page, which goes nowhere. So maybe I'll sit in the first row when that speaker presents. Take notes.
I agree. Considering my Instagram page, I don't know how many followers I have. I mean, say 15, 20 followers. I have 0 posts.
Oh, okay.
I'd be interested in what you guys. Instagram has always been hard for me to follow. I get on there once in a while, and I hardly ever post anything. But even trying to follow other people, to me, I struggle with it, and I, quite frankly, don't get as much out of it as I do, say, Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it too. I don't. I guess the easy way is I don't get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's got, it's nice to look at pictures and so on, but it's such and kind of a random haphazard type of thing that somebody will tell me they posted their picture in there, and I never saw it because I couldn't get past all the pictures they didn't want to see, all the paid promotion pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if I find this article, I'll see if I can dig it. I'll send it off to you guys. And it gave an explanation talking about Instagram. It was really good. And after reading it, it made more sense. They put it as it's a storyline by pictures. Instead of just typing everything out and then putting pictures with the storyline, you're putting it in there, and all you're doing is you're putting your comments of, the location. And they gave like 10 examples in this of people with Instagram channels. And it was really interesting because one guy was into photography, obviously, but really into photography. And he was landscape. And you watched it change from starting in, say, we'll say winter, and then working its way into spring, and then into summer, and then into fall, and back around to winter again. And you saw the progression of the photos go through. And that's all that a couple of people had done it that way. Another one was having to do with following actually race cars, and while following the race car circuit, and then they were following the pictures through as the NASCAR circuit was going through.
Yeah, I mean, that's very good. I mean, I need to get a theme for my Instagram page. I had no theme at all. Random pictures go up or whatever. Yeah, I have no theme.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you really want to get confused? Try Snapchat. They say Snapchat is even the millennials aren't even using Snapchat. It's the kids younger than that.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that again, I wish I owned Snapchat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I want my post to disappear. Do you, Marcus?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. I wish, like on YouTube, I don't post up videos as is. I hate to have something just randomly disappearing.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, I don't mean to change the subject here, but Senator Perry is saying something interesting in the chat here.
Okay, good.
There are no FCC entry filings for the Xeno Pro approved. That's interesting. But, it could be that it really is just the Xeno with, a couple of changes to it. So maybe they can get by without that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but one of the big criticisms of the Xeno Pro so far has been that, hey, really, it's just the same old thing with a couple of modifications. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus. As far as we could tell so far, the only hardware change outside of a paint job is an improved camera.
Yeah, there also must be something different in Wi-Fi too, Ron, because it has the much greater Wi-Fi range.
Well, unless you believe the conspiracy theories that Hubson crippled the original unit's range through a governor rather than it couldn't do it.
Yeah, Senator Perry is saying here that he wanted to see the Wi-Fi chip, which makes sense. I'm not the technical guy that understands that stuff, but surely there would have to be something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the software thing. Like, Steve, are you aware that there's a new Anafi came out recently? They call it the Anafi FPV pack. Well, guess what? You can do the firmware update to the year-old Anafi, and you have every feature of the new one.
Okay.
All you don't have is those goggles. And you can use a pair of off-the-shelf. What do you call them? Not FPV goggles, but VR goggles. You won't have the buttons, the push on it, but they'll work with it. So again, a parrot went out and again basically gave you the new Anafi through firmware updates. All the features are in here for zero cost. So yeah,
there's no difference as far as distance or better connection point transmission?
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of. No.
Yeah.
Because the SpinUp-Nation, I mean, your group, I know you guys focus on it, but you focus on other things, and that's what I appreciate. That is that you bring other drones in it just besides that, and that makes it nice.
Right.
But when you're looking at that, like you were talking about the Pro, and you're saying there's no FCC. Well, if they weren't changing any of the electronics in it, they wouldn't have to repost it. But if they're changing the chips, which have to do with the transmission, it will definitely have to go through FCC approval.
Yeah, and that's what Senator Perry is saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back to what you said, we try to, we call it SpinUp-Nation, but we change the title for every episode. We try to focus on affordable camera drones, because YouTube doesn't need another DJI Mavic channel. It's a whole bunch of people talk about it, a whole bunch of people doing a great job on it, doing better jobs than Marcus and I are doing or whatever. So we thought, well, let's focus on affordable drones, basically like the Mavic Air price and down.
Right.
Because everybody's doing the above shows. There's great channels out there talking about all the advanced drones, but we didn't think enough people were talking about, we'll call them the affordables.
What do you think about the Mantis Q?
We're very interested in it. We spoke a little bit about it last week.
Right.
We think it has great potential. Marcus thinks the price is a little bit too high, but I guess if it can really do that 33 minutes of flight time, you have to pay for that big battery.
Yeah. And the only thing that I was looking a little bit disappointed, because I was watching, your live stream, and I was looking at the specs, and for that price, I was thinking that it would be a little bit better on the specs on it than that was. That's the only thing that I saw disappointed on it.
Totally with you there, Steve. I totally agree. Yeah.
Very few drones in that price range have a three. I shouldn't say very few. It's hit or miss whether you get a 2-axis or 3-axis gimbal. But the Anafi only has a 2-axis gimbal, and I have no complaints. It has software being the 3rd axis, and it's not as good as my Mavic. It's not, but for the price, the 2-axis gimbal is fine on this thing.
The videos I've seen of the Anafi are, outstanding. They put out some really good quality, aerial footage out of it. And the one thing that some people call a gimmick, I don't. I think having that 180-degree axis on that gimbal is, to me, cool, especially if you're really into flying structures like bridges and you want to get out and hit different places where you can capture, especially if you have people that are up on a ledge or a bridge and being able to come up from behind them and you're shooting right up at it. I'm like, there's no other drone out there that can do that.
Right. Plus, it has, some optical zoom on it. It has digital zoom, but it has a couple stops of optical zoom too. So again, not many outside the Mavic, a Mavic 2 zoom. Not many drones have optical zoom on them.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron. So you brought it up. So I just went back on Amazon and looked, and the refurbished Anafi is available again, but the price has gone up just a little bit. For reference, Ron and I bought ours for $445. I don't know, Ron, probably in June or May or June.
It was all the way back in April.
Was it that far back?
Yeah.
I think it was in the spring.
Yeah. Okay. It is now $599 for a refurb Anafi. Now I don't know that I would buy a refurb because they are selling brand new the Anafi base, and they're saying this is on sale for $649.
Or for another $50, I'll just get the FPV pack.
So the FPV pack, I don't see that here, but yeah, it's not listed on Amazon's site.
Yeah, so again, it's a lot of good affordable drones not everybody can go out and spend over $1,000 for these drones.
Yeah.
So, but years ago, a couple of years ago, Steve, there was nothing between having a Phantom or a Mavic and having a toy drone that took terrible videos. There was nothing in the middle, but now the middle has filled in. Now you can go out and shoot 4K stabilized video and not blow the bank account, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, the best deal I think right now in a stabilized camera drone, photography drone right now, is that FIMI X8 SE, and it's been on sale lately on Banggood, and I think you got to have a code, and I don't know what it is. I've seen it before, but I wouldn't even trying to remember where even to find it. But $409 for that drone, and it's got a nice 4K camera on it. It is a powerful drone. I've had my FIMI X8 up to almost 45 miles an hour, and it's got a reach. It'll get out there. It's got some range. For the money, I think that thing is hard to beat.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah. So again, there's some real good choices under $500, and it's really a good time to be in the market for a drone, even though DJI suddenly has kind of disappeared from the market for whatever reason. Did you see the article today? I think was Drone DJ that they took the Phantom 4 Pro V2 off the DJI store for about 2 or 3 days, and it reappeared today. It's out of stock, but it reappeared, and the graphic is new, so there's rumors that it'll be available in the fall for a short time again for all the people that want to get the Phantom before it goes away forever.
Yeah. And one of the things that was surprising, because I was looking at your last week when you were giving your spreadsheet report,
right?
And I went on. It was this morning actually, and DJI had the Pro, the 2 Pro, and the Zoom online, and the Zoom was $1,449.
Yeah, with the tariffs.
Huh?
Yeah, the Zoom is $1,439 new, and last time I looked, it wasn't available. But you're saying it is available again now, Steve?
It was this morning.
Yeah, and that's what I'll tell everybody. It's really a fluid situation because you can look in the morning and then it's different in the afternoon. But just to answer, because there were some people in the chat asking as well, the Mavic 2 Pro now, just by itself, brand new, is $1,729.
Right.
If you buy it with the smart controller, hang on to your hat, $2,199.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
holy tariff cow!
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Hey, Parks and Tech still in here. I want to promote. I think Parks and Tech just got a much better bargain. That he got that flying egg drone for what, only $349.
Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know where he got his, but it's on B&H Photo. You can buy that monster for $349, and
4K.
Incredible. That is an incredible piece of.
And Josh, I want to see you put up some cinematic video. I know it's got 4K, but I want to see how the video really stacks up against some of the other competitive drones. And also, Josh has a video dropping real soon on that new. We talked about today. What's the name of that? You had one of the
Visuo. He's got a Visuo that's a brushless
4K.
Yeah, 4K. So that'll be interesting.
But I want to see the video from Parks and Tech. I told Kolsky Drones the same thing when he did his unboxing. He's got that big egg drone. I said I want to see a video, comparison.
Yeah.
He was just saying, Parks and Tech, about my goal is to somehow obtain a Phantom without my finances leaving me.
His fiance. You know what? His fiance, if you guys watch his videos, she's a participant. She's with him. And I was watching him when he was on the flying egg drone today. And I don't know if he knows it, but the microphone picked up. I could hear her in the background. Good job, honey. Good job.
I was cheering him on.
You've
never seen this flying egg drone. This thing is like a monster. Like the propellers are so big on it, you wouldn't even want to get Marcus. You wouldn't hand catch that thing, would you?
Oh, for God's sakes, it'd chop your arm off.
Bring Let's buy those and bring them to spin up. We'll scare everybody out of the Boy Scout cabin. It'll probably take the arm off of Mel's Inspire. That thing's so big.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's really a shame. Everybody's up in the air, not knowing what happened and what's going on with them, and it's just a real shame, because I know people in the construction industry where I come from, because I'm an electrical contractor by trade, project manager, and I have a lot of friends, and then I know companies that do mapping, and they were just so upset when DJI pulled all those Phantom 4, P4 Pros version 2s off the market, so they could take them back into retrofit to make them onto the RTKs to put them out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the prices I've seen, if you can find them, the RTKs have come down, but they're hard to find.
Yeah, it's I mean, the whole thing's crazy that they're at times their store is basically empty, and and all these crazy rumors. I shouldn't call them crazy. Who knows? I mean, you read stuff about them. Maybe they're not allowed to sell drones in the U.S. because of the reporting back to China thing, and they just keep it a secret. I mean, again, I'm not saying any of that's true or whatever, but you just hear all this stuff, and it just gets you worried and concerned.
My thoughts on that, Ron, and I've stuck with it for a long time after the fiasco they had with their suppliers and the employees and the embezzlement, and that was all during the time that the RTK was going to be released. So here you have all these brand new drones that they're going after the commercial market for, in order to grab a hold of that for the market for people mapping and going after volumetric measurements. And all of a sudden we don't have a drone because now we don't have supply parts to build it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they pulled in all those Maverick 4 Pro V2s, retrofitted them, and that's the problem on both sides. And so there's no Phantom 4. There's hard to find an RTK, if you can even find one, because what's hurting a lot of the people that I know that are doing construction mapping, like Jim Boyd that's in here from Above and Beyond. He does it. He does mapping projects with his 210, and he's got RTK on board it. And what hit it for these companies here, probably 80% of their fleet was just a Maverick 4 Pro. And then when the V2s came out right away, they picked those up and started upgrading their fleet some. And then now, they're off because they don't need all that extra communication equipment to know exact latitude and longitude, because most of their stuff that they're doing is just for, say, a construction shot. They're just going through and giving aerial aerial imaging to go through, and some of them were doing modeling, but it's strictly just to do a progress. Once a week, they just shoot the whole entire, job site and be able to have something where they come into their weekly meetings and be able to go, boom, this is where we were last week, this is where we are this week.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, again, I worked in retail for years, and it never seemed like it always seemed like the business sales were just a small percent of a company's overall sales. Like say, I work for a company. I don't even say the business sales weren't even 10% of our total sales or whatever. So it just seems like but in the drone industry, it seems that number's greatly shifted. Is that correct? That like the business side of it is a much bigger cut than that 10% I saw in my business.
Right. I would agree with that, because like I say, the people that they have, like there's 2 firms that I know, they've got roughly about 35 drones. Each one of them have somewhere around there. And the majority, like I say, the majority of the fleets were just the P, well, they had upgraded, and they were lucky enough to go to the version 2 of the P4 Pro. And they only bought a couple of RTKs because they only need them for those specific, projects that they need that accuracy for.
Right, right.
And it helps when you're doing 3D modeling, obviously, but you don't even need it for the 3D modeling, because Jim does that with the stuff he presents out there to his customers. But he's got a step and a step and a step and a step up from that Phantom to the Matrice 210.
Right. Now, you need the mechanical shutter of the Phantom 4 Pro to do this mapping. Is that correct?
That's it. The roller shutters just don't seem to work as well.
Okay.
They do, but nowhere near the quality of it.
Right. I understood. And so it's just a crazy situation that there's a market for the drone that DJI, for unknown reasons, can't or doesn't want to produce anymore.
Well,
it would be like we'll segue to Apple here, since we talked a lot about them with the new phones. That'd be like all of a sudden if Apple stopped making a popular product that people still wanted, with no replacement for it, really, and no reason why they, just think if they stopped making the high-end iPhone, they only made a cheaper iPhone or whatever, but there was still demand for that high-end phone because pros needed it or whatever. It'd be a crazy situation like that. It'd be you never go over to Apple's website and see their flagship products not be available to buy. On the outside, it just got launched and sold out immediately. But once the product's been out, we'll say 90 days, you never go over there and you can't buy. You can't. Their websites never sold out of their premium products.
Even like this, the Mini 2019 version, because I started having problems on my older model, the 2017 or
the Mini 4.
Yeah. And I noticed it after the last couple of upgrades to the GoPro app. I started having problems with it. Slow, dragging, especially when you're trying to live stream.
Right.
I walked in the door with this thing, and it had just been released. I walked in to the local mall, and we're fortunate enough to have an Apple store there. Went in there, took it in. Here it is. I had my other one. They swapped the chip for me. Paired it up with my, I just linked it to my backup while I was there, made sure everything was okay, walked out the door, and I was done. Like if I had this,
right,
a lot faster.
When you walk in an Apple store and you have $500 in your pocket, there's no way they're going to tell you, "No, we don't want your $500. We don't have that stuff in stock. Go over to the Android store or whatever." You're never going to hear that from most big time companies. So that's what baffles us about the DJI drone stores or whatever, because they're by far in the drone industry, they're by far on top. I mean, they're on top more than almost anybody's on top of anything else, almost in any category. I mean, nobody's on top of the game as much as DJI.
So there's probably multiple. I suspect that it's a multifaceted issue. So people try to put their finger on one thing or another. So Steve, you mentioned it earlier, the problems they had with their suppliers. No doubt that started that thing. Because you can imagine. I mean, any of us that have been in business trying to reconstruct a supply chain. My God, can you imagine how enormous that's
suffering? I think.
Right. So then on top of that, you have regulatory changes that they're trying to cope with. And then on top of that, you have things like our current situation with the tariffs, and they probably don't know which way to turn. Plus, at the same time, they're trying to do R&D, bring out the next product. But here's what I think. I just know DJI is not going to go into the holiday season without something. And I bet you we'll see that Mavic Mini or whatever they call it. And you know what? Guys like us are going to buy it because we're drone nerds. And that's what we do.
Of course, now, see, we're not guaranteeing the Mavic Mini, because that you can get you in world trouble if you if you say there's definitely a Mavic Mini coming. So we're not saying.
If Ash hears us, that's for sure. Yeah.
We don't have any inside sources. I don't know anybody that works at DJI or
Yeah.
I don't know anybody.
I don't know. I don't know anybody the same way. This is just my business background, and and just like Marcus, just like you, Ron, with your background, we're old enough to understand this and know what it really takes. You can get younger college students out that they're out there working, and so they do a great job, but they don't realize that gap that it takes to fill. That if you lost your supply chain, and now you're going, now what do you do? And can I trust another supply chain I'm going into that other people were infiltrated into that, and your employees on top of it all? That had to be one of the hardest hitting things for any company to go through.
Yeah, and then you throw regulatory on top of that, and then tariffs on top of that, and holy guacamole! That's it's a big it's a great big nut to crack.
Well, it is, and like when Ron, comparing Apple, here's one I'll give you is the good old Apple iPhone. This is the 8 Plus. I work for a company that one of the board of directors was the CEO of a company called MFlex, and they were here in Anaheim, California. He came on as CEO, and they were doing about $400,000 a year in business. Now, I don't know the whole entire time he was there, but when he retired, they were just under $1 billion a year in sales. And what did they make? This printed circuit board for the iPhones.
Now that's a CEO that earned his bonus.
Yeah, they ended up moving out of the United States, obviously going to China, put their whole entire factory in there and built it. And then, of course, Apple is telling them, well, we've got these things in the background we want you to maybe start working on. So they're looking at it, wondering, well, what should we do? Are we going to be able to handle this, upgrade and be able to keep up with the phones that we're producing, plus new models that are coming out? And at the time this came in, Chinese New Year's came along. Well, one thing I didn't know at the time, but learned from the CEO, is that a worker only gets paid 50% of their salary. On Chinese New Year's, they get the rest of their salary for the whole entire year.
Oh.
Guess what? They had 7,800 people working in this building. After Chinese New Year's, you're off for the month. They come back. They didn't even have 4,000 people. The people just quit, went away.
Wow. Huh.
So what they ended up doing is building another duplicate factory in another part of China, so they wouldn't be so the employee pool they're pulling up, they could keep on bringing in people in order to compensate for that Chinese New Year's.
Wow.
But it's just like, Lord, can you imagine having to deal with that?
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Huh. Well, I got an update here. The Browns scored another TD. They're up 23-3 on the Jets. So we're going to wrap up here in a second, but I promised one of our loyal people, Greg Pittman, I'd run a little snip of his video, Steve. He made a demo. You can launch the Anafi from your hand and hand catch it, and he made a nice little demo video. We're just going to run a few minutes of it, and then we'll close out here. But Marcus he's an expert handlander also.
I swore I would never handland the Anafi again, but after watching Greg's video, I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, let's see here. We got to let me figure out what I'm doing here again. I'm not the master screen sharer here. Here we go. Okay, can you guys see Greg?
Yeah.
Now I got to hit the play. Now I got to hit the play button. Hold on. There we go.
This video on how to hand catch the Anafi. I've already got it started up. I've got it in film mode, and I do have it in hand lock. What we're going to do is, my video starts here. I'm just going times to show you how to do it and kind of explain to you what needs to be done in the process. Get it up in the air.
Pretty good presence for his first time in front of the camera, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Look at that nice hand launch.
You want to be sure that you get your hand underneath a nappy to where the sensors can see your hand before you push the land button. And then it come right down to your hand and shut off.
For people that aren't familiar with the Anafi, there's a land button on the app.
Wouldn't have 2 foot above you. Get your hand under it. And just shut
Wow.
like that. It's really easy.
He made that look easy, didn't he?
Move the silk.
Yeah.
I want to stop it. He does it. You know, he'll do it again, but basically
It's the same thing. He does it about 3
you
times.
get the gist. So that's one of the nice things about the Nafi that has that hand launch button on it, and you said it's very easy to hand launch.
Yeah, yeah. So to explain it to
It's more of a throw and go, right?
yeah, so the people in the chat and to Steve who hasn't had one, I mean, the hand launch is just amazing on the thing. So you hit the button and it counts down on the app. It goes 1, 2, 3, and on 3 they say throw it, and that's what you do, and it just takes off. It's pretty darn cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg, for making that video. And everybody go over to Greg Pittman's channel, subscribe, and hit that bell, and leave a comment. Let him know you want to see more videos. That was his first video. I have a little bit of a tale of woe, though. Greg said after that video, he had an incident with the Nafi, and he's trying to get it repaired now.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I don't know the details, but maybe we'll get him on sometime.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Ron, so before we sign off, you had mentioned that you wanted me to show the one of the only times that I've ever got the FEMI X8 to do a precision landing.
Oh yes, Steve. We talk a lot about precision landing on here, mostly in jest or whatever. But Marcus finally got the FEMI X8 to do a good precision landing. He's gonna run a short clip of it.
We'll just throw that up here real quick here. If I can find it here. Well, for some reason, folks.
I know you can never find the stuff when you need it.
Yeah, so it's showing, I don't know, NVIDIA GeForce. For some reason, it is not showing my.
Well, while Marcus is looking, Steve, can you give the date one more time for SpinUp?
Sure, I just posted in there. It's Saturday, October 19th in Austin, Texas, and I put the link in there again.
For the tickets?
It's not hyperlinking because I don't have moderator privileges.
Hold on. Well, you will in a second here. I'm looking for you here. Here you go. If now you do a refresh your browser, and you should.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell me when you got my screen, Ron.
Pardon?
Tell me when you got my screen.
It's still not here yet.
Oh, really? I told it to share my entire screen. Share your entire screen. Share.
Oh, here it is. It's coming. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go. So she's coming down, and you'll. I guess this is the video direct from the bird, so you won't see the notifications, the dialog box that it gives you in the app. But I have never got it to land on do a precision landing, particularly with the landing pad on the grass. And here it goes, hitting it right on the nose.
Wow.
And that's probably, I'm not kidding you, I have probably tried 100 times. I don't know. And I think out of that, I've maybe got got it to work one other time. And by the way, I get a lot of grief about that in comments on those videos.
He's not doing it right.
Everybody tells me, what I need to do to do it right. So I take it serious, and I try all the tricks that everybody suggests. And yeah, I've never got it to work.
Mark has wound up cutting a lot of grass at Hero Park, huh?
I've got a little grass there before. I absolutely have. Anyway.
Were you able to get the link in there, Steve?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if it came up or not, though. It's going up.
There it is. I see it. Yeah, it's there.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. How much are tickets right now?
It's $165. It's full price through the date of the event. And one other thing I wanted to mention, we talked about maybe something happened the night before, and just people, if they get in early for dinner, possibly, and then on Saturday after the event. But Sunday after the event, last year, there was a meetup, and some of the creators and people that attended, and they went flying at a park right there, right next to the stadium. Kelly's not sure where it's going to be at, but there will be an event on Sunday for people that are staying over Sunday. There will be a flying event for all those people that want to get together to come out and fly. Just all meet up at a location, and he'll be letting everybody know about that. Great.
Well, if you get any information, Steve, you just message Marcus and I. We'll pass along to all our people that are going or whatever, so we'll get the word out there for you, Kelly.
Be more than happy to.
So, Steve, I really want to thank you for coming to the show tonight. It was great having you on. I mean, you've done so much for the drone community. You've been on many live shows, and you've been a moderator for Kelly and many other big channels. And I really want to thank you for being what I call a good citizen of the drone community. Just helping everybody out and pass along information and making sure a lot of shows run well. So, I mean, I can't say enough for you coming on our little show here. And and being here for our guests and our regulars. So again, my thanks go out, and I look forward to shaking your hand at the event in about a month's time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I do. I look at it as this is a big community. We're here to all learn. We're here to help each other, and I think if we work together, team-wise, we can get a lot further ahead.
Agreed. If you have anything else you want to promote here, your Facebook or your Instagram or your Twitter, go ahead and promote away now. We're all for promotion.
I don't have anything, just my YouTube channel, which will be going through a name change here. I'm thinking about actually getting a logo design and doing something up that'll be a little bit more towards the drone community instead of just my name and my boat picture up there.
Get a little facelift over there, huh? Okay, good.
Anyway, with the boat picture and the Facebook, I may change something up there.
Well, we're looking forward to that for sure. We didn't get around to talking about Dan Nye and his Xeno problems, but maybe he'll be around next week, and we'll go into depth on that or have more information. So I mean, I just gotta I got a little rumor to share before we leave. I have the Insta360 here, but Mick, and I don't know his YouTube channel. He's my source, but Mick and the other guy from Australia, the big 360 guys. But apparently, there's a lot of leaks today for the new GoPro, whatever they call their 360 camera. But it looks like the possibility is coming soon. But it looks like it may be a combination. It may be able to do what the Hero 7 does and be a 360 camera at the same time. At least that's what Mick was hinting at today. And he even showed some like software where it had a Hero setting in the 360 camera. So that would have great possibilities if you only had to buy one camera to do two different things.
I gotta tell you, Ron, it's the GoPro Fusion.
GoPro Fusion, and they don't have a name for the new one, whether it's the 2 or the Pro or whatever. But here's something I got coming up. We talked about the Mavic Pro Classic earlier. I've had my I purchased my Mavic 2 Pro in the spring, and I've kind of just had this sitting around, really haven't used it much, so I decided to sell it, and I was going to do the usual things, Google and eBay or Facebook Marketplace, but I thought, well, wait a minute, I have this big community of people that I talk to the drone community. So I made a video where I show all the accessories and I show it flying. I show video quality of it, and I show the battery. On the app, I show the battery levels, how healthy it is. So I'll release on videos soon, but it won't be public. I'll just be sending out to people in our drone community that would like to pick up a Mavic Pro Classic in perfect condition, not an accident. It's basically not a scratch on the thing or whatever. So so I'm going to be posting that. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to put the video unlisted on YouTube and then send the links out to all my various Facebook groups. And
Ron, before you go any further, I'll give you 400 cash right now.
Right now.
Okay, 401.
I should go auction. But anyhow, if nobody in the community wants or doesn't have any interest, I'll eventually put it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or the user spots. But maybe for a week or two, I'll give somebody in the community an opportunity to get a hold of it or whatever. So anyways, that's all I got. So I'm going to let my good friend and co-host Marcus close this show out, and then we can all go watch the end of that Cleveland Browns New York Jets game, because I think the Jets may be mounting a comeback in that game.
Well, I haven't got a whole lot to add that we haven't already talked about, other than I will be putting together that video that I spoke about on the Hubsan Zeno. And then I got to be honest with you, I was inspired by Greg Pittman's video today, and I'm going to try that with the Anafi. And for people that don't know, is I struggled with the hand landing on the Anafi a couple different times, and so I just decided, hey, I'm just not going to hand land that one. But after I saw the way Greg did it there, it looks pretty doable. So that's probably the next project I'll probably work on.
Well, thank you for that, Marcus. So on that note, we're going to say goodnight to everybody out there. Thanks for everybody who joined us in the chat. We have a lot of our regulars here. I want to thank you guys for showing up. And it looks like the bid's up to 500 on my
Ron's got you at 500. Yeah. And
you guys haven't even seen all the accessories I got for it. I got a whole box full of accessories for it. So 2 batteries. So I'll be up to 550 soon.
501. I'll give you 501, Ron.
and an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, good night, everybody. Go watch the game. Let me know who wins, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.